Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Very interesting piece of news here, and that is supposedly Russia becomes Europe's biggest economy, a report states now or reveals. There will be a lot of terms here that I think they are going to hide behind, but in the meantime, it's very interesting because Russia, they say, it's an economy as big as Italy's. Well, it's not that important. The problem is, it's not that necessary that Russia grows. The problem is that the bigger economies than Russia decrease, which in this case, or shrink. That is Germany, for instance, and France. And it's unbelievable because the Russians are under, 12,000 sanctions by those guys over there who are supposed to sanction them. The Russian economy is going to grow and theirs is going to shrink, but somehow they are under sanctions. All right, so I have this little article here, and it comes from Russia Today, obviously. It's from August 4th, 2023. Russia becomes Europe's biggest economy, report. The country's GDP in PPP terms is outperforming that of Germany, according to world economies. Now, that's important right here. Russia was among the world's 5 largest economies and the largest in Europe in terms of purchasing power parity. PPP, that's purchasing power parity, as of the end of 2022, despite Western sanctions. Interesting, isn't it? The latest World Economics report has revealed. So it's not that the Russians are just barking it that way. It's a fact according to this, coming from a report. Analysts, according to estimates based on official country data published by the World Bank and the IMF, Russia's gross domestic product was $5.51 trillion in PPP terms at the end of last year. The figure is 38% larger than the official estimate of 3.9993 trillion, the report noted. So that's 4, let's put it this way, 4 trillion. So it was 551, and say the figure is 38% larger than the 4 trillion. It also showed that the Russian economy was ahead of Germany's when measured in purchasing power parity, with the latest GDP of $5 trillion. China topped the list at the world's biggest economy, 31 trillion. So these guys are at 5.5. Guys have 31, followed by the US, India, and Japan. The top 10 also included Indonesia, Brazil, and Turkey. The IMF and World Bank both recently raised their forecast for the Russian economy, saying GDP would continue to grow despite sanctions, underpinning by strong trade and industrial production, as well as higher than expected energy revenues. According to the World Bank, Russia's growth is expected to turn positive in 2024. I think 1.2, but will remain modest at 1.2%. The Russian government has maintained a positive outlook for the economy. Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin has predicted that by 2024, the Russian economy will be able to overtake developed countries in terms of growth. Well, so you would have expected something different based on the 12 rounds of sanctions that the Western countries imposed on Russia, and Russia did not sink. Well, how long should I wait until it does sink? Obviously, not obviously, but it didn't sink so far. It doesn't mean that things are not at work, but this data shows a different story. Remember when the war started, or military operation in Ukraine, and the Western geniuses said, first round of, we're going to sanction you, we're going to impose sanctions on you, Russia. Russia said, okay, go ahead. All right, everybody was jerking off in their little offices and meetings. We're going to destroy Russia. We're going to, the ruble is going to be destroyed. The economy is going to be imploding. The masses will be in the street. Putin's head is going to be on a spike, and we win. That's what these guys thought. With all the evidence, the economic data that they have, but we don't, they thought this would be the outcome in about what? The ruble will fall in 48 hours. The economy will be done in about a month or two. Putin had in a stake in about what? 3 months. Nothing happened. Why? Because those guys are not idiots and they were prepared. These guys, on the other hand, these ideologues, that's what they are, ideologues and wishful thinking people who really, those things cloud their minds. They don't take the evidence that it is, you like it or not, and then you make the report and then you make the prediction. No, this guy said, okay, this is what we want. We take things that would fit the scenario we imagine. Russia bad, we good. Therefore, we have to do it this way. And these are paid a lot of money and they have very good positions in Europe and a global market and wherever they are. It's just common sense and look at the facts. When someone tells you something, the first question is, how do you know that? Is it true? And if you say yes, how do you know that? Well, they give you Russians are just backward. Well, don't tell me that. Their military is rusty and no good. Okay, but look at it. And they've been fighting not Ukraine. When these guys are telling you, they can't even defeat Ukraine, ooh, how happy I am. Well, you might be happy, but you're ignorant. Because you know Russia is not fighting Ukraine. Russia is fighting NATO, who's fighting with the Ukrainians. So they use the Ukrainians to fight the Russians. Basically, it's you, I don't know, having a joystick or playing a computer game or playing chess. You got over there the Ukrainians and this is you. And then when they take one of your, whatever, you got the queen or they take it. And then those are the Ukrainians. And then you don't have anything, push it to the side and you start with Romania. Or maybe with the eager beaver Poland and the Baltic states. They will be wiped out because I think the Russians will not have, patience for these guys. They will not get with Poland, not gonna get tangled in a conventional war. I guarantee you that. The same thing with the 5 million people, 3 countries, the Baltic states. That's what they are for me. But they have a big mouth. They do think they are the biggest lion on the savannah. And they're like, Jesus Christ, bang. No offense to you guys, if you are over there, from Estonia, Lithuania, and Latvia. But together, you have about 5 million people. I mean, you can be whatever you want to be, but those guys will just, even if they just walk without weapons towards you with 145 million people, they're going to push you into the Baltic Sea. Don't you think? They don't have to use weapons, just going to come like this. And remember the Napoleonic wars, staying in front of one another and advancing and shooting? That's exactly what they need to do without weapons. That's how many they are. And you boom, and still not destroy them. I'm making it like this, but you stand no chance. The same Poland. Somehow Poland, thinks, unfortunately, I have to say it, to a certain extent, I think Poland is delusional. Their leaders, in thinking that they really are what they used to be, in the 14th, 15th, 16th century, somewhere in those times. No. As someone, I had a conversation with some friends, and one of them said, tell me what victories did Poland have in the past 300 years or something, or 200 years? Tell me, what victories? What did they do? I'm not picking on Poland. I can pick on Romania. I can pick on Hungary. I can pick on other countries. But those guys at least keep their mouth shut and they just suck it in quiet without moaning or making noise. The Poles, they get shafted and they yell and they, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. With what? So if they would be a little bit, it doesn't mean that you should be humble. No, I'm against being humble. When you shouldn't be humble. You're humble when you're a loser. Then you're humble. When you're a winner, don't be humble. Be realistic. Be who you are. And don't feel embarrassed for what you are. If I am, let's say, go to a competition, world tournament, and I win, I should tell everybody, I'm better than all of you. I am. Oh, you're bragging. No, that's the reality. You lost. How do you call people who lose? Winners or losers. So I'm for that. Just say the reality. Don't make yourself less than you are so you don't offend them. No. Are you offended? Change your condition. Train. Train harder. So anyway, the same with the Poles. Well, you're good. You're good, Poles. I like you. But sometimes I think you go too far. And sometimes you have to pull back a little bit because you might get really, really smacked by these guys. You don't like them. They don't like you. But they can you up in 1 minute. You can't them up in 1 minute. You can't up at all. Let's put it this way. You hope that the Americans are going to come. They're going to come like that, but not going to come to save you because they can't. What do you think? The big dogs fight for the small dogs? You gotta be kidding me. Look what they did with Iraq. Look what they did with Afghanistan. They always came, brought freedom and democracy, and then they left. And they left what? Have you seen those skyscrapers in Baghdad lately? Those financial buildings and hubs? There are none. Where is the freedom and democracy? And they rebuilt Iraq. Who paid and who made billions of dollars by investing, and who invested and who rebuilt it? Certain companies. And the Iraqis now they have freedom and democracy. They're happy as anyway. So don't get that route just to see how alliance with United States sometimes means. And you have the examples in the past 30 years. Look over it. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.